Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am latex rocker Rubberium, and today I want to talk about my experiences at MIR 29 Rubberlesque. So I attended MIR 29 back in October, and it was my first MIR, my first big international rubber event. I've done the local ones in Seattle, but this was my first time going to some big kink event, and I just want to share some of my thoughts and what that experience was like for me. So I've been part of this community for a few years, but always kind of behind the scenes, always online, running this YouTube channel, running my website, running my social medias, but never really meeting other people in the community. That all changed last year when I started going to the Seattle Rubbermen meetups. It's just the local guys, and I'd always wanted to go to MIR and just meet everyone from around the world and be part of the bigger kink community. But I never had the opportunity. I lived at home with my parents, and I just didn't have the funds all the time to travel or the confidence, to go out and do something like that. But this year, back in February, I was like, I'm going to go to MIR. I'm going to make it happen. And originally, I was supposed to go to Rub Out before MIR, but ended up getting sick and had to cancel my Rub Out trip. So I was going to gradually kind of wean myself into this larger event, but instead I ended up just going to the bigger event without any other event experience. So I was a little intimidated by that, but I had so much fun at MIR. So if you don't know what MIR is, it used to be called MIR International Rubber. Now it is just MIR Rubber Weekend, because it is now open to all genders, all sexualities, not just gay men participating for the rubber title. So basically, it's multiple days of interacting with other rubberists, attending classes and sessions, going to gear swaps, and basically it's all centered around this competition to win the title, where you have a bunch of people from around the world competing for the title of MIR Rubber Ambassador, Mr. International Rubber, MX Rubber Ambassador, whichever title you choose, basically competing for the international rubber title. So it's really a pageant, but there's all this workshopping and mingling and interacting with people built around it. Wow, talking with this thing is tough. Let me tell you, I feel like I'm just not getting enough airflow. I have to take breaks. So I attended MIR as a attendee. I did not participate in the pageant. I was not trying to win the title or anything. I did not compete. I just went as an attendee, and it was so much fun. So the first day I went early. I got in there Wednesday, I think the 15th. So I went early, flew to Chicago, and just kind of used that first day to relax, unpack all my stuff. Ended up meeting up with someone at the hotel for dinner, and that was a lot of fun. And then the second day, which is the day that the event actually begins in the evening, that Thursday, I got together with a few people that I knew from Instagram, and we went and explored Chicago for that whole first day, and that was really exciting. I had never been to Chicago. It was a great experience.
Right. Sure.
Then that evening was the welcome reception, and that's where I started to meet all kinds of people that I've been following for years online. And at first I was a little intimidated, a little timid, really shy. Didn't want to approach a lot of people. I was kind of waiting for people to approach me. But once I started running into people that I knew from online, it was so much easier, and then I started getting introduced to people. And so that's the main thing I want to highlight about this trip is, even if you're kind of shy, you're introverted like I am, you're nervous about talking to other people, meeting other people that you don't know, it's a great event to kind of overcome that, because you run into people you follow, you'll be introduced to more people. By the time the event ended, I had met dozens of new people, and, it was just a great time. So day one, met some really great people that I knew from online, and just chatted, and I felt very welcomed. It was just a great first evening of the event. Then Friday was the first full day, right? So I got up early, did the breakfast at the hotel, and then walked over in my normal clothes to get in line for the gear swap. and met some great people before then, and got to know people online, and then looked around the gear swap because you could buy used gear, and didn't really see anything that fit me, so I was kind of disappointed about that day. And then I went into the market and met more people there, got to look around, try some rubber on, so that was fun. All of that time, I'm like totally wearing just normal, regular clothes. And then after that, getting the rubber, and then started attending things that day, sessions, meeting people. So I wanted to mostly highlight that first day just because, I was shy, I was nervous. I was kind of like doubting myself even being there at first, just because I was like, do I just talk to people I don't know? And that eventually went away by the end of the weekend as I just started meeting so many great people. Everyone there was so welcoming and nice. They really were. It was a lot of fun. I ended up doing a photo shoot with some friends, and that was incredible. I've always done my own rubber photos by myself. A lot of selfies, right? I use a camera, but a lot of selfies. And having someone else actually take my picture was so fun, and they turned out so great. I've been posting them on Instagram, and they're so fun. It was a really great time. And then the actual MIR competition was so fun. So all the contestants did a bunch of different skits, and they would do like interviews, and it was just so entertaining. And then there were the burlesque performances in between. It was just such a great time. Like, I enjoyed every moment of this event. There really is nothing quite like being completely surrounded by people who are exactly like you. People wearing full rubber, who are into the same things you are, who understand, and you really just feel that community. It's like you've found a family, like, away from your own family. Like, you're just so connected to all these people who are there for the same reasons, and I just loved it. I am still, like, almost riding that high a month later. A lot of people talk about, like, oh, you're going to experience event drop because it's so much fun, it's so great, and then you go back to your normal, more mundane life, and people feel that drop. A little bit of depression kind of sets in. And I just didn't experience that, I think, because it was so enlightening for me to finally experience something like that, kind of that found family, that I just still feel so energized from it. That I finally, just that I got to experience that. And so I'm looking forward to MIR 30. I've already decided I'm going to go again. Because it was that impactful on me. And I know it's just going to get better each and every year. I did buy some things while at MIR. I mentioned that at first I went to the gear swap and didn't find anything. Eventually, I just kept going back, seeing if there's something different. I actually bought the suit that I'm wearing right now at the gear swap. This is a used, small Libidex cat suit. Bought it at the gear swap. It's basically brand new. And small Libidex is the size that I buy from them, so show it off for you there. So walked away with that big purchase. Also bought a little rubber couch for when I go to events that you can put like your phone and your wallet in. Bought some cotton socks that say Evil Gay, a magnet of the rubber pride flag, all kinds of little things here and there. There are all kinds of things that you could buy, all kinds of rubber pieces, leather pieces, cup hoods, like whatever you were looking for. There was all kinds of stuff available at the market, the gear swap, so many options. And then a lot of attendees on that Sunday at the end will go to Show Tunes at Sidetrack, which is a really big video bar in Chicago. I went just for a little bit. Not really my thing. I don't really watch a lot of musicals, so I did not know most of what was going on. But it was cool to see a big, iconic bar like that, and there's so many people in rubber that were at the event that were there, just singing and enjoying themselves. So that was a really cool way to end the whole event. Like I had mentioned, there were all kinds of classes and different like community get-togethers that you could have attended, like gaming, or I went to one that was like how to craft rubber, like how to make your own rubber outfits, just learning some tips and tricks there. There's so much to do that you can't even do all of it. And I really did go just to meet people. So I spent most of the time just hanging out with friends, meeting new people, socializing, because that's the whole reason that I went. And I think next year I would like to maybe go to more of this stuff, just because I didn't do that as much this year. I did go to one of the dinners. I went to like the main event, but I really was there to socialize. This probably came across as one giant ramble, but I see that my camera is going to overheat, so I need to end this. But MIR was a great experience. I really loved it, and I just wanted to share some thoughts of my first time going with all of you, and I'll throw in some clips if I have them available from throughout the trip. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy content like this. This one was kind of messy. I didn't have a script, but I want to do more where I just talk to the camera and, just talk about my experiences. So let me know what you think of this. I'll still do all kinds of videos just showing off my rubbery self. But I hope you enjoyed it.